If you want to start building a sustainable fitness routine or just pick it up where you left off, you don't need the perfect workout. You don't need the ideal equipment, or you don't need the perfect meal plan for that matter. All you have to do is to be aware of the very few keys that are necessary to unlock the right mindset for you to start the process. Trust me, when I started 5 years ago, I was overwhelmed by this very process and the sea of information that's out there about fitness. To be honest, I hated it at first and I thought it just wasn't made for me. And at that time, I wished someone had made a video like this, not just explaining a gym workout, but giving away the very few key elements necessary to get started. So whether you haven't started yet or you've tried but you didn't stick to it, this is for you, because these are the very few essentials that are needed in order to start building a sustainable fitness routine. First, we need to go over the mindset that is appropriate to build your ideal fitness routine, because the person with the most power to either see you succeed or encourage you to quit is yourself. And when you're just starting, you don't have enough information yet. You're biased. What you think you need to do and accomplish is way more complicated than what you actually have to do in order to get you going. Here I'm talking about the expectations that you have of yourself. Most people stop going to the gym after a few weeks just because they're judging themselves too harshly. And this isn't productive, because it's not even going to the gym or the actual physical effort that's stopped them. It's the punch in their ego, because their expectations of their fitness level has been broken. This confrontation, I'd say, is the hardest part, because you have to accept your current level and you have to be willing to see all the progress that's necessary to get to your ideal goal. But the thing is that you need to stop overwhelming yourself, because you need to remember that if you did go to the gym, you succeeded. As long as you engage in the behavior that's leading you to the goal, that's where you win. That's it. And you must confront these self-expectations. And trust me, this is a good thing. You're engaging in something that's forcing you to adapt the way you see yourself. It means that you're growing rapidly. That being said, these expectations can be detrimental. And if you don't recognize them from the start, they can lead to the end of your journey. And the most efficient way to prevent injuries is to think about the situations that can lead to it. That's why before going to the gym, the best thing you could do is write down your self-expectations on paper. Then you have to look at them objectively. Imagine that you're an observer and you're someone else that's not here to judge. So what are you expecting of yourself? Are these expectations realistic and helpful for someone that's just starting? If the answer is yes, well, congratulations, you can proceed and move on to the next part of the video. But if you feel like these written lines aren't well intentioned and useful, cross them out and instead write down the realistic versions of them. It doesn't have to be all rainbow and sunshine. It just can't be the reason why you can't engage ultimately. Because the lesson to take away from this is that you are your only and best ally. You will need it to trust yourself, because you're about to begin on one of the most meaningful and difficult journey you've ever been on, which is the journey of fitness and self-discipline. It's very important to remember that it's a process, right? Just like every other process, it takes time. But once you've ignited the engine and pushed it through, it'll drive on its own. So the takeaway from this first part is that the mindset to adopt is the one of an observer. You're here to watch yourself engage and accomplish your goals. For that, you need to be aware of the potential obstacles, aka self-expectations, that you have to take notice of, that even before starting your journey. Goals are deeply connected to self-expectations. Many people don't realize that while goals are generally positive, they can also be negative and prevent you from acting, aka you're procrastinating. The challenge is that as you're just starting, you might not know what a realistic goal is, because many variables are beyond your knowledge and control for that matter. So one of the most important things that you need to do is to have a clear roadmap. And for that, I've created your one-page roadmap, which is on my website to help you start for free. And you can click the first link in the description down below. When you're just beginning and it's your first week of going to the gym, your brain tends to perceive all the tasks simultaneously. You feel like you have to set goals for everything. For example, I remember that to make this work, I thought that I had to count my calories, hit the gym 5 times a week at least, learn the correct form, and record myself doing perfectly. This is the only way that could lead me to being fit. I'd feel so overwhelmed by all of this because I had like 5 to 10 goals written down on my notes. And I remember telling myself that there's no way I can honor all of those goals. And instead, don't make the same mistake. This is how to proceed if you want to build something sustainable. You just have to set one realistic goal at a time. That's it. And the first one you have to set, it has to be about consistency. That's the only thing that matters in the beginning. Because when you're just starting, nothing matters except the fact that you're physically engaging and going to the gym when you said you would, or cooking your meals when you say you would. For the first few weeks, your only objective is to show up at the gym. For example, if you're just starting, should be between 3 to 4 times per week. Just explore. Explore the gym for 30 minutes. That's it. That's your only goal for the first month. Don't be late. Don't skip sessions. Just commit to the action as planned. And if you can do this, everything else will become way more accessible, trust me. Also, if you need a workout to start, at the end of your roadmap plan, you can click the link to get access to free programs that I've made for you. So now look at your schedule, be objective, and you have to identify and find at least 3 to 4 slots that you can book for the gym. The rule is that if you decide to use these times mentally and physically, you have to block them out. These times should exist merely for you to go to the gym. That's it. And if you miss 2 sessions in a row during the same time slot, you must find another time that week. Deciding to commit to this journey means that there is no alternative, no turning back, no way out. That's why it's significant and meaningful, because commitment comes from eliminating all the alternatives. And if you're watching this video, it's likely that you're ready to make the change as you're seeking this kind of information. Ignore those self-imposed expectations and aim for consistency. That's your only goal when you start. If I understood this when I started, it would have avoided me, roller coasters of self-judgment and feelings of inadequacy. You have to show it for yourself because consistency is the key when you're starting. So now this is the sunshine and rainbow part, but it's also very important. Discipline is the part that gets you to the gym, right? Acceptance is the part that makes you enjoy and feel proud of what you're doing. Starting your journey with acceptance of your current physical and mental state is key to building a routine that you stick to in the long term. Accepting doesn't mean that you're perfect the way you are and that you don't have to change anything. Instead, acceptance means that you accept the cards that you're dealt. You accept that this is out of your control and that you're going to take it from where you stand right now. Truly, the best thing that you can do is to be aware of that, not try to go against nature, because you'll lose every time that you try, trust me. I mean, there are 2 paths to improvement. Either you accept where you are now, or you just skip this step and you're gonna struggle to improve. Hint, the first option is better. To me, this is the part that most people skip. Ultimately, this is the reason why they can't sustain the relationship with fitness. They just aren't ready to make the change because it's not about committing for a month. It's about committing for a lifestyle. Of course, it won't be immediate. But if you genuinely want to accept yourself, I think that everything about this journey gets far easier and way more enjoyable. Because the big issue without self-acceptance is that you tend to heavily compare yourself to others. And it's one thing to use self-comparisons to see where you're standing, which is useful and healthy. But comparing yourself to someone that's far ahead of you in their fitness journey, well, that's hella destructive. When I started, I thought that I needed a body goal. So I was looking at Instagram models for, a few hours a day who've been training for years while I was just on my 2nd week. And trust me, that isn't good for your brain. This isn't how you're supposed to start. To give you a school equivalent, this would be like comparing a high school student's paper to a PhD thesis. It just doesn't work that way. There's no way you can compare those two. On the other hand, self-comparison is a tool. It helps you to track progress and constantly improve. I mean, James Clear said it. Aim to be 1% better than you were yesterday, because at the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better. Remember that the only person you're competing with is yourself. So it is crucial to make peace with your adversary. It's like a friendly competition. And the last thing that we need to discuss is your environment. Do not get mistaken. It can be both protecting as well as detrimental. And while the physical setting matters, the quality of your relationship is even more critical. It can be both protecting as well as detrimental, all depending on the quality of the support it brings. This alone can endanger the whole process, as it did for me. Because at the time I was trying to build a consistent schedule. I was learning the basics of working out, taking care of my diet for the first time. But the problem is that I was surrounded by people that liked to party, that drank a lot, that had very different lifestyle from what I aspired to. Wasn't their priority. But deep down I knew that I didn't enjoy this lifestyle. But still, I ended up going to the parties just because my friends were, destroying my sleep cycle. And obviously the next day I was skipping the gym because I was sleeping the whole day. And the worst part is that I was lying to myself because I hated going out. It wasn't that fun. If I'm sharing this, it's to tell you how much your environment can influence your behavior. It took me some time to realize that in the end, I was better off without them. But cutting off your environment like this is a very difficult step because you're pretty much telling your brain that you'll be all alone for a while. This is something it desperately doesn't want to become a reality. This is the reason why it's pulling you back to familiar people and habits. So if you want to make the change and go toward fitness and health, you can be in an environment that's directed by chaos. You'll have to buckle up if it's the case. And I'm not trying to tell you that you have to, cut everyone off and quit your job, that kind of shit. It's just that the key is to make sure that your environment is coherent with your goals and aligned with the lifestyle that you want to set for yourself. So just take a moment to evaluate your current environment. Ask yourself, do my closest relationships supports my personal and physical development? If the answer is no, well, I guess you kind of have an idea of what to do next if you truly want to build a sustainable fitness journey. Because the thing is that when you're starting, you don't have to have all the right people by your side yet. You just can't have the toxic ones. As everything, it's a process and it's your choice to make. So again, don't make the same mistakes as me because I underestimated the power and the influence that my environment had over my lifestyle for years. So key principle, your environment can be both the reason why you succeed and the reason why you fail. Make sure that you're surrounded by supportive people that are coherent with your goal. So this was everything I needed to tell you before starting your fitness journey. Now, if you don't know where to start and you're ready for it, consider clicking the first link in the description. You will find all the tools that you need in order to get started for free. I hope this helps, and as always, just trust the process.